rusty wheels and knew I'd take her home. I brought her to my farm in an Amish neighborhood where simple living's valued. She'd be loved and understood. I put her on a treadle stand and coaxed her wheel to turn. I felt her joy and easing with my study and concern. I cleaned her and I oiled her, showed her off to all my friends, repaired the hurts of years and let her sew again.
All right, I'm going to take a little bit of time and put my lifter lever parts back together, because I remember that was one of the last things I took apart. So hopefully, I can put it together earlier. So I have all of these miscellaneous pieces. This little piece that I was able to paint slides in here, and it gets screwed on, and I have a tiny screw in this baggie here that I need to get out and screw that on. I'm also going to go ahead and just put the lifter lever, regular one, back on so I have it pushed through. If you remember, I'll pull it off again. So this is what I'm looking at here, okay? This pushes through, and then at this point, this little set screw is going to go up against that groove to keep it from wanting to come in and out. So that's what I'm pushing in. Let me get that set in, and then we'll work on the bigger picture. Okay, so now that is good. There's no pressure on it because I don't even have the presser bar in yet. So let me get some of these other pieces out. There is the plunger. It went on the bottom, and if you remember, it had a really, really nasty felt washer on the bottom. And what I've done is I've just taken a thread spool, an old vintage thread spool, but that works on here, okay? So I'm going to put that on, so this is going to take the place of that one, and I think I've thrown it away already. So I need to tip her back over on her back again. All right, so there's a little bushing thing down here, and I've just tapped it in so it's back down there. And on the bottom, next time I have it flipped up, I'll show you what I have this feeded through. There's that little lever that goes up and down, and there's an eyelet in it. I have the bottom plunger of this in there. Okay, so actually before I finish dealing with this, I want to get this arm back on. So I have a hole here. I just punch that through my decal, sticking the end of my spring in there. Okay, so spring's still hanging there. I went ahead and put this part on so that it'll be easier, because I think trying to put that on after would be difficult because that slides in here. So I've got my bolts through there. I need to rest the bottom of that spring that wraps around on there. Put the little pointy part in the shark mouth. Bring up the circle of my spring. You know what? I'm gonna get this started and then I'll adjust that spring. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so lifting the circle of the spring to the hole, I'm gonna get this started. Very tight threads there. Okay, it's just barely started, so now I'm gonna pull this spring down. It was not started well enough. Okay, so I've got it started in those threads. I'm gonna, oh man, I have to back it out just a bit. I need to bring it out enough I can pull this spring behind it. Come on, there you go. All right, now it's clipped underneath. I might have scratched my paint behind there, but that's the way the ball is bouncing right now. I need to shift this spring over just a bit and continue twisting this in. I'm going to use my little wrench again. All right, I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in that hole up there at the top. So this is looking pretty good. All right, now I need to bring this down so it's going to set in here. All right, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see, but see this little part here with that little lifter lever, and it's got a hole on that side? That's what this is going through. And then between this metal piece, this bracket, and the casting is where I put that little felt circle. Okay, so that's going to work as a buffer right there. Okay, I believe I have it where I did before. I did go back and look, and it was 14 millimeters from that point to the top. I think I have it right about there, but that's an easy adjustment to make later if I need to. You know, it's just turning a couple nuts. So, feeling good about that. Let me tap that little bushing again. Okay, let me go ahead and flip her around so we're looking at the nose up here. And I'm going to take a quick detour and get this put back on. I did not remove anything or adjust anything in this compartment here. So at this point, I'm hoping that all is well. I'm going to go ahead and put my little gasket on here. Well, it has grown some, not all the way, but it has grown some. I have that little opening. I'll probably come back and just put a little silicone or something right there. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and just get it set on. Ooh, I cannot. She is still masked closed. Let me go ahead and pull her funky, tough masking out of here. There it goes. That's a lot of latex. Okay, because there's a screw that needs to go down through the top. Okay, I wanted to show you, I'll finish this another time because what I ended up doing is I had to actually snap my gasket in 2 spots just so that these holes would line up. So I have it lightly glued on with silicone, and I've got a silicone here and here, clear, and I'm just going to wait for that to dry. Just set it aside and wait for that to dry before I put it back on. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move back into the front area. Okay, I want to show you something before I get started on the inside. There are 2 little tubes right here that are coming down with little raggedy ends of old wick on them, okay? And I don't think I'm going to be able to get in and change the wick in there. I know that if I unscrew this little screw, because I've done it, it pulls out a long screw which loosens it up, but then this goes on to be connected through a wick to something in the back, which I cannot reach. So I just put some drops of fresh oil on those little nubs, and I am hoping for the best that when the system kicks in gear again that, you know, she will be flushed out, kind of like I'm thinking about that oil filter on the bottom. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put my needle bar in, and I need to put my needle bar clamp in. And remember, I found this floating around and I wasn't sure what it was. Well, let me tell you what it is. I'm gonna put some more oil on here. There's a channel back here. The post of this goes up and down, but it fits inside of here. So this entire piece is going to move up and down in that channel. So I need to slip, get my needle bar up out of the way. This goes through here, okay, but let me see if I can raise it up some. Before I push it all the way through, in the very back, I'm going to set that little there you go. Hopefully you can see it's down here. I need to lower this so that it's going to line up with the hole in that little piece. Let me get some tweezers in there maybe to hold it still. Okay. Kind of fidgety. And there. Okay, so I've got my clamp going all the way through this bracket into that little rectangle behind. Okay, let me go ahead and put the little screw in here. I'm not going to tighten it, but I just don't want to lose it. So let me get this just started here. Okay, so now I'm going to push down my needle bar through the clamp. And it does have timing marks at the top, and I'm not worrying about timing it all right now. I just want to get it kind of in position here. All right, I have an issue here. I put this piece back on. It has a oil wick, and right here, and actually the oil wick on here was in good shape, so I re-oiled it and tucked it in. And this part of the oil wick here, if you can see, right, this part, oops, that does weird things with the light. It rubs up and down on the needle bar, so it keeps the needle bar lubricated. But here's my issue. I got down to my little screw that screws the needle clamp on, and I can't find a needle clamp. And I'm wondering if it's missing or something. I don't even know. I don't remember. So I'm just going to screw this little screw into one of these holes back here. And I also have a thread guide, I believe, that goes on here. Okay, done a couple of little things. I put a little thread guide in here. I put the little screw in. There is no clamp. It's just the screw that goes in. So that was my issue there. I put this little thread guide back on here. Just trying to wrap up some loose ends. It looks like I have one more little thread guide kind of piece that I can stick in here and put a little screw right up here straight down to lock it in. Okay, I want to show you where I am. I've put a few pieces on here. They're not set, but just to show you, because I wanted to make sure I could get everything in there, honestly. The presser bar is in two different pieces. So I've got the bottom piece here, you know, that the presser foot attaches to. And then I've got two pieces that slide over it. This one hooks onto this piece, and that end of that little nub is the lifter lever bar here, okay? And then this also slides over it. So you have to put the bottom presser bar in first with these guys, all right? And I've got a little set screw. I'm just going to get it started because I am not in any way getting this accurate at this point. I'm just kind of getting the pieces put in, but I don't want to lose this little screw here. Come on. Don't know why she's not wanting to go. Okay, so now the top, remember, has this massive spring, and there's a washer on each side, okay, and that slides in from the top, and it sets inside. This bottom presser bar is hollow, and this top one kind of slides inside of it, okay? All right, I'm going to twist it up here just enough to start getting the threads twisted through that finial. If you remember, it was threaded quite far down. I'm going to go ahead and pop my little presser foot on here. And I do have my paper towel there because I have been adding oil everywhere in here as I go. This is a high shank foot. Let me pull it down a bit. Lots of adjusting still to do, okay? So let me just get this on here because that's going to help give me a guideline of where to set the presser bar height. I'm sure in the book it has an exact height, but for right now, I am just going to eyeball it to get started here. Okay, so let me go ahead and twist it some more from the top because I want this presser bar to come all the way down. And I want to make sure my little toes of my feet are lined up. And that looks pretty good. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cinch this in all the way until it hits the presser bar, and I need to change bits. Okay, so just putting it, you know, based on when the presser bar is down, having it, you know, in complete contact with the plate, you know, with the feed dogs down at that point. And that's giving me a very nice amount of lift there, at least a 1/4 inch, which is perfect for this machine because, you know, heavy stuff. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and twist down this finial up here on top a little bit more, just to get the pressure down there that I need. I remember that there were threads visible from the bottom, but I don't remember how many, so I'm just going to keep going until I start to see threads right here. Okay, I have her mostly put back together. I have to do all of the timing and everything on her now, and my brain is fried from putting all of her together and everything today. My brain is really pretty fried. I did put her tension mechanism back in. You know, there's a little canister. You basically slide the entire thing, and there's a set screw over here you secure it with. I would move her over there, but I don't think my little bitty thingy here will reach. So yeah, she's looking good. I just don't have the brain power to function tonight to get her timed. Hopefully by tomorrow, my gasket for putting up here is going to be dry, so that can go back on. And then I can come back underneath here, reset the timing on our hook, make sure the needle bar is the right height, you know, all of those assorted things. So I will see you then. Hello, it has actually been a few days. Let me tell you what's been going on. Stable my arm here. I worked on her yesterday for hours, getting her all adjusted. Lots to adjust. And I'm not going to tip her up right now because I still only have one hinge. I have another hinge on order. And I have ordered a belt. I'm out of breath because I just ran up my hill. I could not order the belt until I had her in the machine with the motor mounted underneath. And I do have it mounted down there now, so I could get the length that I need. So hopefully that'll be here soon. So this video is probably going to go out late, just because I want to wait and have everything together when I put her out. But at this point, she is functioning, you know, as far as I can tell. I was able to just put thread through the needle and in the bobbin, and the needle did pick it up, you know. I didn't actually sew everything because at that point I didn't have all of this where it could be used. Because when you're threading this thing, it goes in and out of the spool pin, and it goes in and out of a few of those holes and everything. So anyhow, I just wanted to give you an update. I have been working on her, but there's still more to do. So once I get her belt and her foot pedal and everything on, then we'll have our final run through. Hello, so I am upstairs in my sewing room up here, where the magic happens, you know. And I have company who were strong enough to be able to carry all this upstairs. So even though I wasn't completely finished with it, I wanted to get it up here, you know, while I had the manpower. And I just wanted to show you, I know I had this on backwards. I had the cover on the outside of the filter. It was wrong, and I don't know why I wasn't noticing it. I haven't, you know, hooked this up to the motor yet. I still am waiting for my belt and everything, but I got that switched so that the filter screen is on the outside now, so all that is good. So let me tip her down, and I'll just show you where I am right now. Okay, so right now I just have her bobbin winder just kind of sitting there because I can't get the bobbin winder set until I get the belt on. Hopefully the belt will come this week. I did get my foot controller put on. I did get my knee lifter put on, and hopefully she's adjusted well. If not, I can readjust her later. Yeah, just a few more things, and then I can test her out. I'm not really going to be doing a whole lot of testing until I get the belt to connect. But look, here's my new motor control. I got my brushless servo motor down there. So, you know, ignore the fancy feet wear here. If you can hear it, Here's a low speed. Okay, and I have different settings that I can do there. So I'm pretty happy with that, really pretty happy with that. I'm excited to try it out. Okay, I finally got the belt in the mail today, and I think I ordered one that's about an inch or two too tight. So I'm gonna order another one, but I want to give you just a quick view because this belt is good enough that I can at least test her, which is what I need. And the other thing is, I decided that this is just going to be for looks because the bobbins for this machine work on my little sidewinder that I use for all kinds of things. And so we're just going to let that be the bobbin winder. And I might even take this off. I don't know. It depends on how much it gets in my way. But what I wanted to show you is that right now I don't have a needle in her and her presser foot is up. But I want you to look in here while I run her. So if you can see, there was oil dripping. So that's good. That means that that oil pump thing is at least working its way through. And I do have her up to just below the high mark underneath here. I think that I'm going to need to adjust the presser foot height to just a little bit lower. It seems like when it's running, if you heard it clicking, it's tapping right up against, it's tapping right up against the foot here. So when I put the foot down, that shouldn't be an issue. You know, let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't tap here. So it might not be an issue, you know. Hopefully I won't be running it a lot with the presser foot up. But let me go ahead and put a needle in here and let's... Okay, so I can tell you I'm going to need to make some adjustments on the lifter lever on the bottom because, you know, that's not correct. I'm probably going to have to do some work on timing. I'm going to have to make some adjustments on the presser bar, but she does sew. So I just want to show you really quickly that she does in fact sew. This is just some felt that I have. You can see on the bottom, really nice stitches. Well, maybe you can't. Well, let me go a little more. I have her speed dialed down. At this point, I think I can go up to 2,000 stitches an inch, which is way more than I really need. But like I said, there are some adjustments that need to be made, but I do need to get a different belt in here because right now this belt is so tight that the hand wheel is really hard to turn, and that's just not good for the main shaft or anything, so I want to get it taken off. But if you can see, there's the stitching on the right side, the red, on the back side, the white. I think it looks really great. It feels very strong. It's just, you know, adjustments, new belt, but I wanted to go ahead and get this out there so you can see. And what I'm doing for a light is just using one of these little magnetic lights. I can just pop it back here, aim it wherever I need to so it's nice and bright down here. And that's working really well for me. So I think this is going to be it for her video series. I'm just going to go ahead and get started sewing with her. So thank you for coming along on this journey. I really appreciate it.
I found an antique sewing machine, forgotten and alone. I touched her rusty wheels and knew I'd take her home. I brought her to my farm in an Amish neighborhood where simple living's valued. She'd be loved and understood. I put her on a treadle stand and coaxed her wheel to turn. I felt her joy and easing with my study and concern. I cleaned her and I oiled her, showed her off to all my friends, repaired the hurts of years and let her sew again.